Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel V. Hill, taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
Today was a big day for the NFL Combine and for the Denver Broncos because the media was available to talk to all of the quarterbacks, and there was plenty of good stuff that came out. But one of the main topics that really caught my interest involved Michael Penix Jr. and his discussion with the Denver Broncos and why they were so different. So to talk about this, because a man who also asked a very important question to him is our very own Cecil Lammey with boots on the ground in Indianapolis. Cecil, good morning. How are you? I guess it's afternoon for you.
Yeah, it's afternoon. Body clock is off. Not exactly same plan, which makes me a little hangry. And bad Wi-Fi in the convention center also makes me hangry. So let's talk about football. That makes me happy, Rachel.
I like that a lot. Okay, so we'll start with Michael Penix Jr. because I feel like all of the talk was around him, but you asked a very important question about his work ethic, which essentially has been in, a lot of debates about some of the things that he's been doing, and I'm curious your thoughts on his response.
Yeah, it's funny that, he says he doesn't have work ethic problems, yet evaluators still continue to kind of beat that drum, if you will. Now, it could be the season of lies. It could be someone trying to make him fall in the draft. But we're also talking about a quarterback who's not going to be there. It's not going to be taken in the top 10, not top 15, maybe not even the first round. So it's not like there's the gamesmanship that you would have at the top of the draft, let's say for a Jaden Daniels, Drake May, his fall, to 7 or whatever. So it's interesting that that's still kind of out there. Talk to his teammates, talk to Penix as well. Had to get in the work ethic question because I just wanted to hear from him, put him on the record in terms of, I could give it. He has two shoulder injuries, two shoulder injuries, 2 knee injuries, and he still kept going. Had a transfer from Indiana, goes to Washington, 2 healthy seasons. That's what his supporters will continue to say. He's got 2 healthy seasons, so he doesn't have injury concerns. Wrong. He's got a ton of injury concerns. And with that comes the work ethic concerns in terms of rehab, in terms of weight room availability, like how dedicated it's going to be in an NFL weight program. He's going to have to be dedicated because he needs to work on his lower body. He needs to get stronger. We'll see if an NFL team wants to take a chance on him. I have some rumblings that New England might be interested in trading back into the end of the first round if Michael Penix is there. A lot of things could change. It's the 1st of March. But I just want to give everyone an idea of where Penix is expected to go. I think New England taking him, moving back into, 31 or whatever, be a little shocking because mid-second, 3rd round pick is where I think he should go off the board. But all it takes is one team. And I know the Patriots like him.
Interesting. Well, I always love to hear all of your rumblings. The other thing that interests me on Penix real quick was the fact that he said his meeting with the Denver Broncos was very interesting. We have that clip for you, so we will play it. It was definitely an interesting approach to it. Take a listen.
Yeah, they were tough. They were tough. They was trying to, they put up a lot of bad plays, but it's good, because, and at the next level, it's hard. It's hard to win, I understand that. And, I feel like in ways that he was probably trying to see how I reacted, to those bad plays, if I could take accountability and stuff like that. And, I'm always going to do that, I'm always going to put others before me, and I'm going to be honest about everything.
So you tell me, do a lot of teams typically show the bad plays to different quarterbacks or maybe just to players in general? Or is this a particular case where this is something that Broncos fans should definitely notice about what Sean Payton and George Paton are doing?
Well, this is something where the Broncos evaluation would probably include some of those concerns because all the stuff I hear, they're going to hear. They might have heard it first or whatever. So this is something where Sean Payton wanted to get in his kitchen and kind of see what's going on. What are you thinking with these plays? Now, is it fairly common? Yeah, sure. But with Penix, you have one especially bad game. You have that game against Michigan. If you look at his pressure numbers the rest of the season, the rest of the last 2 years with the Huskies, fine. It's not great. but he's fine. There's nothing that would be alarming for me. And if we remember, before that Michigan game, I was saying Penix is an option in the top 15 because he has elite arm skill. His release is unorthodox, to say the least. It's ugly.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. He throws an ugly football. It's left-handed. It doesn't look good. It seems like it takes forever. Like, we're just going to be honest. I'll stop beating around the bush, really. But pressure wasn't a problem until Michigan. So is it a problem now? And will he work to fix those problems? That's what Sean Payton and company are trying to find out.
Okay, so who was your favorite QB that you heard from this morning?
Well, I talked to JJ McCarthy. So that was my setup. The way that the combine works, unfortunately, is back in the day when there would be one major player that was done at one time. So everybody got to talk to him. Based on our assignments today, I figured it was better for Mace to be at podium 4, where my guy Jaden Daniels was. I do know the Commanders at number 2 really like Jaden Daniels. And the New England thing at 3 is very important about Penix, because if they were to move back in the end of the first round, that means they didn't take a quarterback at 3. 3 is the number. You've got to find out if you can move up with New England, because they love Jaden Daniels. So Jaden Daniels is really the fulcrum of the conversation here. And I wasn't able to talk to him today because Mace was at podium 4. I was at podium 6. I stayed posted at podium 6. We got there a half an hour early and people were still starting to gather. So I was able to get my spot where you see the video from Penix, from JJ McCarthy. I really enjoyed what JJ McCarthy had to say. But Daniels is the key here, because Jaden Daniels, if Washington somehow doesn't take him, or if Washington does take him, then that makes New England think not about Drake May, but other players, or just moving back. And if you're the Broncos, that presents an opportunity to move up. So I really think Jaden Daniels is the key. Not only if Denver can get him, which the way Adam Peters thinks about Jaden Daniels, I don't think they can, but that makes New England change their mind about quarterbacks. That makes Denver perhaps make a move for JJ McCarthy. And with what McCarthy has done, I had a team that's in pursuit of him as well tell me that he has a photographic memory. Okay? He's already impressing on the whiteboard. It's exactly what he needed to do. He's one of the few top quarterbacks that is throwing at the NFL Combine. Doing these things is going to further impress teams. So you may think it's crazy. You move up to 3 for JJ McCarthy. He's going to be drafted in front of Penix, and he's going to be drafted in front of Drake May. Yeah, welcome to the new information. And that's the great thing about this event, is we get to stay current with what's happening right now.
Cecil, you seem to be a little bit higher on JJ McCarthy than you were in previous weeks. Was it just something that he said, or was it the talk that you're hearing? You just seem to be a little higher on him.
Well, he's still not a first-round quarterback. I mean, he's just not. So if I see more enthused, it's one of 2 things, Rachel. I'll break this down for the audience, really for myself, honestly. One, it's the fact that he meditates. Okay, as someone who meditates every day, I meditate multiple times a day. I was just doing some mudras before we did this show, right? And when I see you, what do I do, Rachel? Joey, what do I do every time I see you, right? Grace. I'm sending grace your way. So it's enjoyable when a football player, alpha males, big meatheads, muscle heads, meatheads, actually understand spirituality and thinking at a higher level. That's impressive. Mm-hmm. Now, I already knew that about JJ McCarthy. And for me, it's about the film. It's about what he's done on the field. I've seen him make stick throws. I haven't seen him make enough stick throws. His arm strength is a concern. I've had people say he's Andy Dalton. I don't like that, okay? That's not good, by the way. And that's why the number 1 draft analyst in the world, number 1, Dane Brugler, has a 2nd-round grade on JJ McCarthy, the same as I do. I was able to talk to Dane. Of course, his beast comes out with The Athletic in early April. Everyone get that. Everyone get the rookie scouting portfolio with Matt Waldman. So not only is it and these are done independently, right? So when I have Jaden Daniels as my number 1 quarterback, and I talked to Doug Farrar, noted film guru from USA Today, and we're like bro fist pumping and bro hugging because we're the only two people that have Jaden Daniels number one. Everyone else, there's always this group think and follow the herd. And listen, Caleb Williams is fantastic. There's no doubt there. But when evaluators like Doug Farr, myself, executives I talk to in the league prefer Jaden Daniels because he's that player, it makes me feel good. Not that I need reinforcement, people really like me. No, it's just my eyes tell me Jaden's the best. Yeah. Okay. My eyes tell me JJ's not a first rounder. Mm-hmm. Not yet. Next year he'd be, with perceived growth. He would be. If I seem higher on JJ, it's the first thing that I told you about from a spiritual standpoint. He seems to be in tune and a higher vibrational person, which I always enjoy talking to those type of people. The other thing is I'm down with Sean Payton. Okay. He's grumpy. He's old. He's a tyrant. I don't give a damn. If he picks JJ McCarthy as the quarterback, let's go Broncos. Okay. That's what we all have to be. There's questions about all these guys. All right. Even Jaden Daniels. Mm-hmm. There's questions about my guy, my number one quarterback, Jaden Daniels. If McCarthy is the guy, it's let's go Broncos. So for me, I'm going to, the film is already out there. I talk to him. I like him a little more, right? Like as a guy, I like JJ McCarthy as a guy, but on film, not first round, not a first round grade. And we remember Andy Dalton, Colin Kaepernick that year. We're both second round picks. It's about where he should go. It's a quarterback crazy league. And if you're dealing with a quarterback who has a photographic memory, teams are going to go nuts. He's going to be taken in the top 10.
Well, buckle up, I guess, because we'll see what the Broncos end up doing. Plenty of good stuff coming out of the combine. I know you and Mace are doing excellent stuff. Definitely getting everything on denversports.com and on your social media. So Cecil Lammey, as always, I appreciate you, my friend.
And peace be with you.
And peace be with you on that, Fred, for this Friday edition of Coffee Break. Always love hearing from Cecil and Mace. And again, they've got really good stuff on all of their social media platforms. So highly recommend following them. I think it's going to be interesting to see what the Denver Broncos end up doing. Do they try and move up 4 or 5 spots? Do they try and go? I found it to be so unique that they decided to interview a Caleb Williams and a Jaden Daniels, etc. And they just went down the list because chances of moving into that number 1 spot for Caleb Williams or a Daniel seems impossible at this point, but I guess you got to do your due diligence. I also thought it was interesting. Caleb Williams is not giving any of his medical records, and I think he's like one of the first quarterbacks to do so. So it seems like Caleb Williams kind of understands the hype around him, which makes me just think, are other teams going to look at this and think, all right, he's a diva, or he thinks too highly of himself, etc., and they decide to drop him and they go for a Daniels or such. We know that Caleb Williams isn't going to throw at the combine. He's waiting for his pro day. I think it's going to be fascinating. But from the Denver Broncos standpoint, again, it's kind of just waiting on, is it going to be a JJ McCarthy? We know that Sean Payton is enamored. And I know a lot of people are like, if he actually really loved JJ McCarthy, he wouldn't be putting that out there. So is this some kind of mind game or whatever? And I think Cecil being a little bit more high on him, like Cecil and I have had plenty of conversations. You guys have seen a ton of those conversations of, okay, we're not sold on JJ McCarthy, but he just spoke so highly of him today. And he mentioned some of the negative things and how if he would stay one more year, he would be a first-round QB. But again, will it come down to the Denver Broncos deciding to have Jarrett Stidham be the starter or a bridge quarterback, but JJ McCarthy being the future? It's going to be fascinating. There's going to be so much coming in the upcoming week. So as always, I appreciate you hanging with us here and dealing with Cecil's technical issues. Obviously, when you're on boots on the ground, wherever you are, if you don't have good internet or cell service, whatever it may be, it can be a little difficult. But he provided some excellent insight. So if you have made it this far in the show, I appreciate you for sticking around and hanging with us for that. But it is a Friday edition of Coffee Break, which means we are going to head out for the weekend, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back 10 a.m. on Monday morning for Denver Sports Daily, 12 p.m. for Coffee Break to talk about probably what the heck the quarterbacks look like on Saturday when they were throwing and plenty of other good stuff. So get back to work, everybody, and we will see you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.